Friends, in today's episode, I will speak to you of the relevance of Shankaracharya in today's times and in our lives. However, Shankaracharya lived 1200 years ago, disrupted education, and depressed minds are two distasteful truths of the pandemic. It's good that it is behind us, but its effects are still seen. And we may have to endure the effects for a much longer time. And the diagnostics may not be very effective. Need to learn online seeks motivated individuals, assuming technology is available and is functional. Depression leading to suicide is much more intrinsically different or difficult to decrypt. Does it inspire any confidence when World Health Organization reports it as a leading cause of violent death, striking down about 1 million people worldwide every year, more than all the wars and murders combined? Times such as these call for our indomitable spirit to show us the way. That spirit, however, must be rooted in Paravidya or the spiritual, or ethical values that we have, along with Aparavidya, which we learn in the universities. A great deal depends on what the religion teaches us or what our dharma teaches us. Hinduism is the oldest religion in the world. It is also the Sanatana Dharma or the eternal tradition. Hindus believe that the truth is eternal as the Brahman and that the Vedas or sacred hymns are the ultimate authority that everyone should have to achieve dharma, that individual souls are immortal and that the goal of the individual soul is moksha or salvation. In the COVID times of monumental pressures, it is imperative to revisit the exemplary values that are enshrined in our Hinduism. Should these tenets then not be the building blocks we are looking for in our future universities as they set standards for learning? Adi Shankaracharya and his Advaita philosophy, the idea that the true self or the Atman is the highest metaphysical reality of the universe, can truly help us overcome the pressures, of isolation and depression. Can his writing, Shankaracharya's writing, the Brahma Sutra Bhashya, a commentary on Brahma Sutra, the fundamental text of the Vedanta school, be the leading light for us in these stressed times? The third chapter of the book discusses epistemology or a path to gaining spiritually liberating knowledge in a way that Paravidya and Aparavidya converge into a beautiful, seamless blend. Fourth, or the last chapter of the great writing, tells us why such knowledge is important to us. In a way, the third chapter takes us through the learning pedagogies, and the fourth promises better mental health through the process of living. Exemplary, since the paradox of the self and suicidal behavior in COVID-induced psychosis or any other can be overcome only when you know the self, only when you know yourself. Adi Shankaracharya in his travels taught that supreme Brahman is nirguna, that is without gunas. Nirakara, no form, formless, nirvisesha, without attributes, and akarta, the non-agent. What is interesting is the pedagogy and the andragogy he uses to teach both children and adults that will be useful in virtual schooling, COVID goji, and digitally fatigued times. As universities, colleges, and schools strive to pivot in a virtual learning environment, on a very short notice, the world's premier educational, cultural, and media institutions opened up their virtual doors to a multitude of educational resources and courses alike. And it's continuing to do that after COVID as well. The modern teacher, though well versed in educational technology and so on, the digital transformations and so on, seldom uses effective methods within a classroom, in a classroom. He was caught on the wrong foot suddenly. And it will be worth imbibing Shankaracharya's 10 methods of pedagogies if we were to transcend the challenging and the normal times that we may have. The Mathas found by Shankaracharya, even as they had a great influence in reforming Hinduism, depended as much on his methods to reach people as much as on the depth of learning, debate, logical reasoning that they stressed on in the Mathas. Is Shravana Vidhi, or listening attentively to when the Guru says, not equivalent to a lecture session or listening to a pre-recorded session, akin to NPTEL, Udemy, or Coursera, like content? Manana Vidhi, or meditating over what Guru teaches, implies dialectics and critical thinking to assimilate the essentials. Don't we reflect and concentrate? So essential for real learning. Nidhi Dhyasa Vidhi teaches us to reach conclusions, understand, think, and logically conclude. Prashnottara Vidhi seeks learning through question-answer methodologies. And it is also followed in Upanishads. Throughout the Upanishads, you will find the Guru answering, the Shishya seeking answers. Tarka Vidhi, or the Karyakaran Bhava, or the cause and effect methodology, so effective in building reasoning skills and remove doubts of the students, is hardly followed by any modern teacher. Vyakhya Vidhi, or teaching by exposition, tika, or commentary, or annotation, is probably not used by any teacher at all. Adhyaropa Apavada Vidhi, a projection method where the student is guided to see the real into the unreal, or unreal into the real, is not even spoken about. Drishtanta Vidhi, that helps students understand difficult subject matter through illustrations, is rarely used. Katha Kathana Vidhi, another beautiful teaching learning pedagogy of storytelling, is, as used in the Upanishads again, is not done at all. Are we not aware of Vishnu Sharma's Panchatantra? Some institutions do use case studies, but then good case studies are hard to come by. Finally, the Acharya has also bestowed his wisdom through the Upadesha Vidhi, where a lecture method is used in helping students understand through discourses. Adi Shankara's teaching learning methods and vignettes espouse a completely student-centric learning that we only talk about today. The National Education Policy seeks to talk about it. Unfortunately, except for Shravana Vidhi and Upadesha Vidhi, neither our schools nor our teachers experience or experiment with any other teaching pedagogy. This results in teacher-centric education and not student-centric education. It actually puts the learner off learning. That Sringeri Sharada Peetham, formed on the ethos of Yajurveda, and the Dwaraka Peetham, formed on Samaveda, or Jyotirmat Peetham, formed on the Atharva Veda, and Govardhana Matha, formed on Rigveda, they have all followed the Acharyas' pedagogies and are still following them, speaks volumes of their commitment to teaching. It, however, is extremely unfortunate that the universities have chosen to discard all except two. Is it not time to reinvent? It is also gratifying that some online content providers are experimenting by building all these pedagogies in their online content delivery. When one thought it would be difficult to do so in the online mode. Distance education, along with media, organizations and technology companies, platforms, and so on, they're all addressing the pragmatic modes of instruction and delivery, affordable and convenient access. And they even cater to a social and egalitarian ethos being associated with cultural pedagogies, alternative curricula, community education, and independent learning, and lifelong learning, all features of the national education policy. In these times of COVID-led disruptions, building mental strength is very, very important, is paramount. The American Psychological Association defines mental resilience as a process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, and significant sources of stress. What better way can there be than yoga, pranayama, concentration and meditation, and the endless wisdom of Shankaracharya, the Jnana Yogi, Raja Yogi, to help release in our brain chemicals like endorphins and dopamine to balance, to help balance the mood and of course combat depression. Friends, that's all for this Saturday wisdom. Thank you, Dhanyavad, Namaskar, until we meet next Saturday.